just kind of a lot of intuition in terms of how they relate and what kind of care they might be expected to give later on.
How many people remember to bring something in that's special? Yeah, some people did, some people didn't. That's okay. We don't always remember to bring things, but mornings at home are pretty busy.
Men as well as women are capable of providing good care for children. Women as well as men are capable of abusing them. Yet many parents are concerned about the role men have in our profession. In today's climate of fear about child abuse in child care settings, it takes courage for men to do this work and for providers to hire them.
Throw away the rest. Enough left over for a Google birdie's nest. Artichokes.
The monster! The monster! The monster!
Are you a good monster?
No. You.
Oh, no! My men friends think that I'm crazy. You know, I mean, in some ways. I mean, they always say, oh, I couldn't do that, you know. Kids, they bug me, you know, and I can't take it, you know. When just one, you know, let alone 12. They say, how do you do that with so many?
A lot of parents, I think, choose to bring their children to us because Chuck is here. Because they want their kids to be with a male and female all day long.
They do call me Dad a lot, you know, and they'll say, well, Dad, what about this? And then they'll catch themselves, and they think it's funny, too, you know.
The way I avoid power struggles is by trying to do things that are really developmentally appropriate for the children I'm working with. I try not to set up situations where I am going to lose. And one of the ways I try and set up the situation is by being aware of what's going to work and what's not going to work. I have learned a lot of these things in child development classes, but I've learned probably the greatest amount of it through experience and through working with children, through observation. Actually, there's a really beautiful example of my group doing something which could have been potentially a power conflict, which was when we went down to Daniela's house for music. And Daniela's house and yard are full of wonderful, attractive, interesting things to my children. And so when we went down there, if I had expected that they sit there with Bonnie doing music and ignoring all of those wonderful things that surrounded us, I would have been setting myself up for a really unhappy time. I would have felt very frustrated. I would have felt a failure as a provider, as a teacher. As it was, I do not have an expectation that they will sit and listen to music, and the other people who are there do not.
It's important for you to know what you can reasonably expect from a child at each stage in the life cycle. And you can help educate parents to treat them in ways appropriate to their age. Discipline should be relative to a child's stage of development. For example, an adult may try to toilet train a child before he's ready and then get frustrated because the child doesn't do what he's told. And children in this situation often get yelled at or even physically abused.
So much activity, so much curriculum is planned without really knowing the needs of the children. You'll have children who are 4 years old, 3 years old, learning to write their names, and they've never played with Play-Doh. They can't cut with scissors because they've never played with manipulative toys. They have trouble understanding space relations because they've never played with blocks. And not only is it a problem for the caregiver, but it's a problem getting the caregiver to get the parent to understand the importance of this. And there's many times when parents will come and they'll say, I want to enroll my child in this program. What is your curriculum? And their child's 2.5. Do you teach them to read? Do you teach them to write? And then you have to go through this whole thing about developmental needs of the children. And there have been a couple times where I've just had it and I've told a parent, if you want a program where your child's going to start writing at the age of 3, then you need to find a different program because this will not do that.
Good. Now, after those sit-ups, it always feels great to do a little body twist. That's right. Just bring your leg right up there. Good. Now, Lock your elbow around your wrist. That's right, now twist. Twist, that's what I'm telling you. Feel it right here in your torso. Look, honey, I'd be a basket case too if I was keeping up with small kids all day.
Oh.
Hey, you gotta relax.
Yeah.
Oh, you feel that knot?
I feel it. I feel it!
Let's try something else, huh? All right, now, place your front leg at a 90-degree angle to your body. Are you getting regular exercise?
Oh, yeah.
A good diet?
Yes.
Straighten the back leg. You must be under stress.
You've got it.
Now, sit right into it.
What? Who from?
A parent? A kid?
Oh. Both.
You knotted up again.
I can't do this. It hurts too much.
What trouble is this kid giving you?
You name it. But the thing that gets me is I want to hit him.
How to discipline a child isn't just an issue for the child care community. It's a major subject of discussion among parents as well. Some people oppose what they call permissiveness and believe in physical punishment. Some of us are convinced that hurting children's bodies can harm their development as sane and loving human beings. In child care, licensing prohibits physical punishment that causes pain or humiliates children. Any discipline which interferes with toileting, eating, or sleeping is also prohibited. Yelling and screaming at children or putting them down and insulting them may temporarily frighten them into acting differently. But discipline which guides children toward better behavior has immediate and positive results.
A lot of times people are afraid to use the word discipline. It sounds very strict and rigid. But if you think about what the meaning of it is, it's a little bit easier to understand why it's so necessary in the lives of the children. And I like to contrast it with the word punishment, as punishment is something that children don't need to grow. The goal of disciplining a child is to help them realize their own self-discipline. They're really the ones who are going to have to control themselves.
Thank you.
It's me. Yes. You need to pick up your fork. Thank you, Sammy.
We wouldn't give you We want to give you good nutrition.
Our lunch period has not always been as calm, and the staff has worked very hard at that. And the emphasis has been to develop the social skills as well as understanding of the nutritional needs and the importance of eating good meals. But we now have developed much more of a family atmosphere where the children sit down and they wait for every child to be at the table. Then they pass the plates, and I mean, we deal in details. For instance, each child is asked to hold a plate so another child can take their food off and then pass the food, and then when everybody's served, they can begin eating. And they've kind of risen to the occasion. They really enjoy the atmosphere that's been created by that, and they can see too that it's more orderly and quiet, and they get a much better feeling from the meal.
If you go from center to center to center and listen to people's discipline complaints, what they feel they can't manage, it's very interesting that something that is utterly under control in one center is the big problem in another center. And in that center, something that they just take for granted as being something that simply happens is a problem in another center. Same thing with households. You know, one household you'll say, you know, everything goes fine, but I can't get my kids to bed at a certain time. And another household say, bedtime, oh no, I need my space at night. My kids are in bed right at a certain time, but meals, they get up and down and up and down. So why is that? It's because of where your intentions are as a person. If you are absolutely clear that you need certain behavior from kids, you get it. So in a child care setting, I think the way I would go about getting this clarity I'm talking about is to make a list of the kinds of behaviors that you require from kids. Or let's put it this way, the kinds of behaviors you end up getting on them about or nagging them about or feeling are important, some work and some don't. Then put all those behaviors in one of two categories. Either I'm absolutely clear I must require this of these children, or I'm going to let this go. So you decide, is it important to you that the kids do not leave the snack table until they're done eating? Well, you know, on the one hand, sometimes they need to know. I want to know. Do you require that? Or do you feel loose about it? I guess at this age, I'm not ready to say they need to sit still through the whole snack time or through the whole lunch time, that they can get up and trade. Fine. Then don't keep yelling at them. Stay in your seats, children. Remember I told you to say that if you don't mean it, because you'll lose your credibility with the kids. They won't believe you.
So it's real important to talk about individual children in terms of disciplining. And to also have a set of rules that are common that all the staff are going to be consistent about. Things that the children know as a kind of the school's rules. The children really enjoy knowing it. They take pride in telling you what the rules are. So the staff needs to really sit and talk out what those rules are. And there has to be a very clear understanding that everybody on the staff is going to support those rules. Otherwise, teachers undermine each other. And that's a source of real problems for the children.
Do you use physical punishment?
Oh, only when I have to.
Do you mean when you're angry or what?
Well, it's to teach him a lesson for his own good.
If there was a better way to do what's good for him, would you try it?
Of course, I'd try it. Come on, Sam. Let's go home.
Bye, Sam.
Bye.
I've got one little one that I had from 15 months. And now he's 6 years old, and I think I'm almost as proud of him as his parents are. And so I get a real high off of seeing him grow up, you know, and he's developed into the child that I think I wanted him to be. And I've put a lot into him, so that's the way I feel about a lot of them. If they stay with me long enough, I feel like they're almost mine.
Our greatest commitment is to the children and to quality child care in this country. If we're going to succeed, we need to recognize the importance of our work and learn to do it as well as we can. Our strength is in the quality of the care we provide. In order to maintain a high standard, we need to be aware of the stresses of our work. Stress can lead to abuse, and abusive treatment of children goes against everything we stand for. Our strength is also in the community that we share with each other and with parents for the best interests of the children. If we help each other, we can meet the challenge of child abuse and neglect. And we'll create a better future for ourselves as well. For today's child is tomorrow's adult. Children who are able to trust and to love without fear may grow to be trustworthy, loving caretakers for the world we share.